Alright, so in this video we're going to be going over the tilted bird, which is a very common lift, and it opens up windows so that you can do other things once you learn it and you actually have it down pretty well. Alright, so first to start, we're going to start just by a standstill, which is the easiest way to actually learn how to do this one. So ladies, your hands are going to be on the gentleman's shoulders. That way when you jump you can actually push off of his shoulders as well, but your hands are going to actually stay on his shoulders for now. And then gentlemen, your hands, you're going to open up your hands so your thumbs are facing towards each other, and then the indentation or the side of your hand between your index finger and thumb, that is going to go right where the lady's hip joint is, not her hip bones, but her hip joint. If you need to figure out where that is, have her stand and lift one leg up at a 90 degree, and that way you can find out where your hands have to go. Okay, then make sure that you're moving together. If you go down and up together when you jump, that's going to make this a lot easier. So ladies, as you jump up, you're actually leaning over the guy. So make sure that you lean over. When you lean over him, you're bringing your legs out behind you. Now the temptation is going to be to bring them out in front, because that's a normal reaction. Don't do that because it hurts when you end up kicking the guy. Alright, gentlemen, what you can do is you're going to go down at the same time as the lady, and then you're going to actually, your hands tilt backward, and then you start to push up. Be very careful when you start to actually push up and go through it. Make sure your hands and legs move at the same time. Again, be very careful with the hands. You can end up digging your thumbs into that joint, and then you're putting pressure on arteries and nerves, and it's really painful. So make sure that when you push up, the pressure needs to be in your palms, throughout your entire palm, not throughout just your thumbs. It's very important. Alright, so now you're up in the air in this position. As you can see, ladies, your legs are extended out behind you and they need to be separated a little bit, meaning have your legs out to the sides a little bit, and that changes based on every girl's a little bit different. You just need to find out how far you need to be separated for the guy. That gives us actually something to hold on to when you spread your legs out to the side, and it's not a full split because that'd be really uncomfortable for the guy, but think of more like a 45-degree angle, maybe a little bit wider than that. That way we're actually holding on to your thighs rather than worrying about having you slip out because you're in a straight line. And then also, ladies, as you can see here, her hands are on my shoulders. That's where you want your hands to be because you're going to be very top heavy in this lift. So your hands are bracing yourself on the guy's shoulder or the top of his back so that you can actually hold yourself up. And if you have your straight arms, that's the easiest way to do it. Gentlemen, you need to make sure that when your arms are up, that they're up basically where your ears are, which is the safest common place to be that, maybe a little bit in front of that. So basically what we're doing is you're creating a structure. There's a line going straight down my arms through my body into the ground, and that's where you're going to be the most stable and also the most comfortable. There are a myriad of different ways to bring the lady down once you decide that you are coming down. So I do it one method here. The other way, gentlemen, is you hold her up and then you kind of squat down or kneel down and then bring her gently down the ground. Basically just make sure that the lady knows you're coming down so that she can bring her legs together and stand up. And then however you get out of it, it is up to you. Just please make sure you don't send the girl off your back, because then she's doing a nosedive into the ground, and obviously that's really bad. So bring her down in front, set her gently on the ground, and then you can continue from there. Alright, so now we're adding to the difficulty, and that makes it so the lady is actually running or stepping into the lift. What this does is it generates momentum and actually makes it easier for the guy to lift the girl up into the air. However, the technique to it is a little bit harder to understand and to master. Alright, so since you're moving into it, you can't stand right next to the other person, otherwise it doesn't really work to actually do this approach. And what this does is it gives the girl a little bit of forward momentum so that it makes it actually easier for the guy to move up. And the idea is that the gentleman just has to follow the momentum up rather than generate a ton of momentum himself to try and get the girl up. That way he's not doing a full press. So to start, ladies, you're actually going to step away from your guy. Now I know a lot of people like to go about 3 steps away, but go however far you need to be comfortable with this approach. Gentlemen, you're going to stand with one leg in front of the other, so a little bit of separated in your legs, a staggered stance. That way when the girl lady does come in, the back leg is used to absorb forward momentum and then generate upward momentum as well. For the gentleman, one of the most difficult parts about doing a lift this way is that you have to make sure your hands are placed nearly perfectly so you can get the lady up in the air. Because your hands are off, then you're likely to slip one way or the other, or she's going to be off balance, and that's not good. So to practice this, what you can do is just have the lady walk to where you are. Gentlemen, you practice lowering yourself, squatting down, placing your hands where they need to be, and that way you can see where your hands have to be placed when she does run in. It makes that situation a little easier. Ladies, you can see you're coming in, you're planning, and then you're going to jump. You're acting like you're jumping almost at a 45-degree over the guy. Don't try to go straight up, otherwise we have to step forward and try and get you up. It just makes it a lot harder. So act like you're actually jumping 45 degrees over the guy. And gentlemen, as she does this, you need to make sure that you actually catch her. If it's the first few times you've been doing this, especially with a new partner, make sure that you have a spotter behind you, just in case she does end up flying behind you. It just makes it so things become a lot more safe. And again, here the goal is to not bend your arms as much. As you can see, my arms aren't nearly as bent as they were when I was doing it from a standstill. And you're following the lady's momentum up over your head. It just makes it so you want to make it one fluid motion going up. That way she doesn't come in and you don't end up hitting her, headbutting her in wherever. It's not fun, not comfortable. So you're coming in and you're generating that momentum. You're just following her momentum straight up in the air, and it makes it smooth and really easy. So I didn't actually come out of it very well in this one. I usually do it a lot better. However, just make sure you bring her down safely and comfortably, and so she's set down nice on the ground. Again, the best way, especially the first few times, is probably just to squat or kneel down on the ground, then bring her gently so her feet set on the ground.